You're listening to the 808s and Joysticks podcast, now available on Spreaker, iTunes, TuneIn Radio, and YouTube.
If I was down and out, would you still have love for me, girl? It's easy to love me now. Would you love me if I was down and out?
Welcome to episode 9 of 808s and Joysticks, the show that bridges the gap between games, music, seasoned with pop culture. I'm Tairell, and joining me today, as always, is Tom.
As you know, if you are listening to the show already, last week we did a massive sort of E3 coverage section. We ended up recording sort of probably around 6 episodes and live streaming those episodes as well, but giving them to you guys available on demand to see our reactions to E3 as it happened. As we're based in the United Kingdom, that obviously meant that it took a lot of time and effort for us to stay up until basically 6-7 a.m. some mornings and then go to sleep at that time, and then wake up again in the afternoon or literally hours later. Yeah, sort of 3 to 4 days. So it was very, very tiring for us. But we enjoyed it. We enjoyed doing what we did, and we got some really good feedback and really positive sort of interaction from you guys, and seeing the stats that come in from those shows was amazing. And we're just going to run down a quick recap of what happened at E3 if you didn't listen or know what's happened, and we're going to look at sort of our favourite games, the worst games that come of it, our favourite conference and our worst conference. Start off then, what were your favourite games coming out of E3 this year?
Favourite games? I'm biased, obviously, so I still really did enjoy Death Stranding as a... Okay, let's get rid of Death Stranding out of the running. If it wasn't for Death Stranding, because I'm really interested and intrigued in what Kojima's about to do next, even though I felt that trailer was definitely not was not a representation of the game itself, and he said that himself.
Well, yeah, that was like Walking Simulator 2018.
Yeah, we don't know. That was more of a cinematic art piece, I think, anyway, in my opinion. But Ghost of Tsushima,
I enjoyed the concept of it.
Yeah, I did enjoy the concept of it. Yeah, the game in itself.
We got to see a bit more detail.
Yeah, and no, it was very... I still felt like he's not showing us the game. It was very cryptic still, even though it showed us gameplay. The gameplay never showed us any violent, anything to do with any of the fighting mechanics. Not so much violence, but any fighting, what weapons you use. It was very much it seemed to be more of a survival game than anything. You're a courier, I guess. I don't know, it was just very odd and strange. Well, I guess that's what's so alluring about Hideo Kojima's games. They're just strange and alluring, and they've got such a wonder about them where you just think, where is it going to go next in the story? And it's so mysterious and cryptic. You just want to find out more, and that's what I felt about Death Stranding. But besides that, though, Ghost of Tsushima was really impressive. I've never seen a game that looked like an actual, just a samurai film, a real old samurai film. If you enjoy those kind of films like I do, definitely love Ghost of Tsushima. It was just insane. And Smash Bros blew my mind. The amount of characters, they're going to bring every character back. That's insane. I gotta give it props to Nintendo for that one still. So coming out of E3, I would choose Ghost of Tsushima, Death Stranding, and Smash Bros. I'm trying to think of anything else. Devil May Cry 5. That reveal was insane. I can't believe Devil May Cry is back. I'm so excited. What about you, Tom? How are you feeling?
I'm very sort of familiar to you in... I'm excited about Death Stranding. I'm not as big as a fan of as you.
Yeah.
But Kojima, I do love Kojima's passion and his design work, and like some like the concepts of his games really interest me a lot, and like Death Stranding is definitely one of the darker concepts that he's gone for in recent like times when designing games, and it doesn't really like I don't know, take into account like going into dark subjects in a matter that they're in a real universe like Metal Gear. It's this like alternate half death thing that we still don't know a lot of stuff about.
Yeah,
but obviously we both played the Silent Hills teaser before that got dropped by Konami that Kojima was meant to be working on with Norman Reedus. And we played the playable teaser PT for that on PlayStation, and that was like a completely amazing game. It was like, well, not like a few hours long, but we basically got a lot of inspiration from that anyway. And I personally got inspired by that game, so it just shows that like he obviously does something right when making games to inspire people, and obviously creatively is just insanely good at what he does. Sort of like, again, Ghost of Tsushima is a game I wasn't like, I didn't know what to expect from it, and when we saw obviously like the old sort of samurai style moments in it from like a movie, and the whole sort of color palette and the aesthetic was just like on point for exactly what it was going for. That seems like a game that I'd want to play. The Last of Us 2 is like another game as well, man, that really like the gameplay for that looked incredible. It just surprised me, and I wasn't expecting it.
Still to this day, like I do not know what was set pieces and what was just random gameplay.
Yeah.
It's so insane how they did that, and we was blown away when we watched that live. We was just like, what the hell?
And then like going on from that, obviously, a few Nintendo games, so like Smash Bros, which we've just mentioned. Like, I'm not a massive Smash Brothers fan either, but the game really interested me because they're bringing the whole roster back, and basically the Switch is like an ideal place to play a game like that, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a really fun game in it. So you can imagine the Nintendo Switch is made for portability, but it's also made for accommodating more than one player as well. So it'll be very interesting how you can connect the systems together. As we've seen, it's very easy to connect the two systems together to play the same game. So I can't wait to see what they're going to do with this. And they said they are bringing back 8-player Smash. So that just assumes that you can use 4 controllers to play Smash Bros. On one system, which is insane.
Mm-hmm. The other thing that was like, well, there's 2 other games that I've got left. So obviously, if you listen to the show that we do anyway, you'll know that I'm very interested in Pokemon, and that game's obviously coming out in November this year. We saw extended gameplay of that. Obviously, it's got Pokemon Go mechanics. It is what it is. Like, it looks good. It's a good hybrid. I'm still waiting for like a more in-depth Pokemon maybe next year, but like for now, this is going to be like really exciting for me to be able to play a 3D Pokemon game on my Switch, which is what I've been waiting for since I bought the console. So yeah, it's exactly what I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And then one I didn't expect, Skull and Bones as well.
Oh my god, Tom! I forgot
just multiplayer-wise,
that game.
Like us personally, like playing that it's like there's a lot of multiplayer games that have like interested me over the past few years, but like this was, again, like I'm not sure if I'll pick it up, but just the concept of it and the way they've handled it compared to Sea of Thieves, which I again was interested in playing. Like, this seems a lot more like my sort of game, and obviously it's made by Ubisoft, and they've shown before they can do pirate games with Assassin's Creed Black Flag. So this is definitely like a game that I'm looking forward to based on that.
Skull and Bones is definitely, that's definitely down as one of my favorite games at E3 as well, because that was insane. Like the way how they showed the game, and how you can interact with different players and call in reinforcements, and it was like an ultimate pirate game. And I don't really like pirate games, but that made it look so fun, and like there was so much tactics and battle strategies involved. When I was like, this is going to be amazing, like I can't wait to play this.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I really thought about the game. I just thought it blew me away. Graphically, it was impressive, but then also the gameplay was so impressive as well. Yeah, and it looked like it just basically added on or like improved everything that Sea of Thieves have done wrong, and did even more than that as well. And it's expected of Ubisoft anyway, because apparently I didn't really like Black Flag, but I'll go on to say that the ship mechanic in Black Flag, when you was doing the shipping app, was pretty good. So for them to make a Skull and Bones, like to make the whole game, which is basically, you know, an extended version of that part of Black Flag with a lot more features into it, it's expected of them to make it good, because, you know, a lot of people did enjoy Black Flag from Assassin's Creed series.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm really excited to play that game. Hopefully we get into the beta, because there is a beta going on right now to sign up for. So if you do want to play it, then I suggest you sign up for the Skull and Bones beta. You know, who knows? You might see us on the high seas. Yeah, that was really it. What do you think is your worst games anyway, Tom?
I think that's a hard question. Like, there wasn't much that disappointed me this year.
I thought you was really disappointed by FIFA. That's what I thought you was disappointed by. I thought that's what you was going to say.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always disappointed by FIFA because they don't put a lot of effort into the stuff that they... I feel like with the team they've got and all everything they do, they could do a lot more with the game. They just don't. And like, I wouldn't call it a bad game. Like, it's still an okay game. It's not the worst game of the show. It's hard to pick a worst game. Like, to try and narrow it down to what was the worst game. In fact, no, it's not. Just Dance. There you go. It's pretty easy.
But I can't even say that was the worst game, to be honest. But I understand where you're coming from. Is that what you're going to include? Oh, by the way, favorite games, honorable mention, Jump Force. That's the game that's got all the anime characters in it. It is going to be sick. I have seen gameplay. It looks amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Words. I think I'd go for Just Dance. You've got to think about some of the other games. Like, I would say something like, the most disappointing, something like Elder Scrolls 6 or Halo or stuff like that. They got announced, but you don't know when it's coming, what's going to happen with it.
Oh yeah, the ones that are just not coming for like years now.
Yeah, Cyberpunk 2077. Like, I'm really pumped and excited for that game, but it's disappointing because we didn't see a release date or anything. But apparently gameplay was shown there, and the gameplay is meant to be like amazing.
Yeah, it was shown behind closed doors
based on the conference.
Yeah, it was the gameplay was shown behind closed doors to certain gaming platforms.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I just heard it's supposed to be really great, seamless online, so you are never ever gonna have to have a loading screen. There's not going to be any type of wait time, and that's what they needed the additional funding for, to make this new seamless multiplayer system, which I'm pretty sure we've talked about before here on the show, haven't we?
I think we spoke about it last week. Or
yeah, we did. We talked about how they had additional funding from the actual Polish government to create this new system, so you know it's going to be sick. Yeah, I understand what you mean about the worst games thing. I think you can't really say that some of these games are like the worst because we didn't see much from some games, I guess. I think like, so we can't really be like, oh, that's the worst game, like, because we didn't see much from it. But from what I did see, I didn't like the look of Anthem, and I didn't like the look of Rage 2. I thought those were really bad. Just in my opinion, I just didn't.
Yeah, no.
I just thought Rage 2 just looked like Doom, but open world, but less fun. Yeah. And a lot was going on. And then Anthem, it was the conference itself and the presentation that really fucked up Anthem because it looked boring. It looked like there was nothing going on in the game. It looked so dry. So, and that's another one of these games that I keep trying to, you don't really have a single player, but you're online, but you go to a hub. I'm like, sounds like you're lying to us, EA. Sounds like there's no single player again.
There's a single player story is what they said. I'm interested in the concept, but I don't think it's going to work like that. It's not that disappointing. It's nice to see people doing something different. However, I feel like it'll flop. I feel like that could be the end of Bioware after that. If this fails, even if they're working on Dragon Age.
I got to disagree with you because I don't think Anthem is different. It looks like a mashup of all the most popular games right now in one.
Yeah, I'm not saying that it's different. It's basically Destiny 3 with Titanfall elements.
Yeah, this is like an Advanced Warfare, was it Infinite Warfare? The one where they had all of the robots and the war running and all that kind of crazy stuff. It's a lot of that all in one. But carry on, what was you saying? Because you was about to say why you thought it was different.
But yeah, obviously the single player thing in a multiplayer universe is like something we've never seen before. It's interesting to see how they are going to apply that because obviously they've gave us details, but you don't know how that's going to work until you're playing and you experience single player in the
multiplayer universe. We have kind of seen it though. I don't know what kind of world it's going to be, like if it's going to be lots of players everywhere, but there's been a lot of games where you can play single player but still be multiplayer. Watch Dogs is an example.
Yeah, but it's like the story mode, but you can go out on quests with people.
Yeah, that's true. It was a story mode, but you progress online, don't you?
So you play through your single player story that's personal to you. Yet you go out and do stuff with your friends, and they experience the same or different story. Or I'm not sure. I don't know if it has branching paths and stuff. I can't remember too much.
I don't think that.
But it's a weird one. It's different. It's nice to see it's something different. It's just weird. Mm-hmm. Not sure what to expect to it. But moving on from that, obviously we've talked about favorite games and the worst games. But then the favorite conference. So what based on the company and the whole experience of their conference. What was your favorite conference? I think I know what you're going to say, but
no, I'm not going to say that. I think I don't know. I'm between Sony and Xbox at the moment because
it's interesting.
Although I didn't really rate Xbox as first because they have no exclusives whatsoever. Their exclusives are really, really minimal right now. I don't think anything exclusive for Xbox is dropping this year. It's all next year. So, except for maybe Forza might be coming out this year because there's a Forza a year, isn't there? So
yeah, Horizon's coming out this year.
Horizon's coming out this year, but that's Forza. I mean, none of them first party main titles are coming out. Obviously, Forza is now a main title first party because Xbox have acquired Playground Studios. So, the conference was really good. I like the reveals. That's what Microsoft did. Traditional E3, they went with we're going to show off world premieres of everything. And,
I think
we're going to bring the hype. That's what I think they were trying to do.
Yeah, I think they basically capitalized on other people not doing that, and that's why they seemed better. It was still a good conference. They did well. To be fair, they actually showed off some good games this year. Actually, I was going to say favourite games, Kingdom Hearts 3, but like I still don't know if that game's coming, so we'll hold off until the game gets in my hands.
Yo, they say it's coming, man. There's a PlayStation 4 that's coming out with it now. They have to release. That means that game is.
I heard that game was coming in 2010. So.
Yeah, the game's been coming for. We didn't think we was going to get Kingdom Hearts ever. Now I don't think we're going to get Final Fantasy 7. In my opinion, I feel like it's going to get cancelled, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah.
Yeah, fair. I'm gonna have to, but I'm gonna have to rock with Sony just because I like the way they presented themselves. I think it was really cool how they did the the scenery change, and they did the guy with the banjo at the beginning, and then he went into the Last of Us, and it was in the same kind of environment, and then they switched over to the guy playing the wind flute. God awful, by the way. Don't know who he was. They must have just found him outside and was like, hey, here's this wind flute, try and play it for us, because he was terrible. And yeah, I just liked the way how that was and how the screens were set up to look like a field of like grass, and I was like, whoa, that's really cool. So yeah, I will maybe go with Sony. Honorable mention or second place will go to Xbox, and then third place will go to Ubisoft. Everyone else was just Ubisoft. No, third place will go to either Ubisoft or Nintendo, but I can't really give it to Nintendo because their direct was really just a Smash direct. So
yeah,
it was just, we had some thoughts about that. We were kind of a little bit upset that they didn't talk about Pokemon.
I was happy.
Or anything else.
I just thought they could have, announced a little bit more. I mean, obviously, if you were interested in more in-depth discussions and everything that we're like speaking about from E3, then we have plenty of episodes to go back and listen to that we've covered.
We covered all the major conferences. The only people we didn't cover was the PC gaming show, which who does anyway, and we didn't cover Devolver Digital, even though I heard they had a very good conference, and we're very big fans of Devolver Digital, but it was just too. We couldn't. We were streaming. It was like 5 a.m. in the morning. Yeah, we were streaming at the same time as Devolver Digital was on, so it was impossible for us to catch up and watch it. So I haven't personally watched it yet, but I heard it was a little bit of the same. Or it's the same kind of concept as they did last year, where they did kind of like a satire type thing, and it was kind of like pre-recorded. So, yeah, hats off to Devolver Digital once again, because they've got some great games coming out. There's that one guy called is it called My Friend Pedro or something like that? Or have you seen it? It's really cool. It's like a guy who has guns and a skateboard and just goes through buildings and shoot, basically ollie with guns.
Oh,
it's hard.
I think
it's very good. It's very cool. I think it's called My Friend Pedro.
Games like that anyway. They had they've had a few office brawler / 2D shooter games that they've released in the past. And we played a couple of Devolver Digital games. Yeah. No, they don't take themselves too seriously, and it's nice to have a company like that in the industry that's doing well. It's always a good thing.
Yeah, definitely. And they also took piss out of like loot boxes and all sorts of stuff, and I just thought that was great because it hasn't been a good year for the the big companies, EA and stuff like that, because they've been caught out, and finally people are starting to catch on. Not even just hardcore gamers or clued up people, like the everyday consumer is also starting to see the error of some of these big companies and how much they're charging people for some things that should be free in the game. So it's really good. It's really good that they're getting held accountable for their actions. What's your favorite conference, did you say?
Personally for me, I think Square Enix was like the best conference for the whole.
What are you on about?
Nah, I'm joking. Personally, like Ubisoft was the best for me. It's a weird one because like Ubisoft, Microsoft / Xbox and PlayStation / Sony, we're all on like a level playing field to me. But I feel like Ubisoft just pipped it in my opinion because they definitely cared about people's interaction with their games.
Yeah, that's
more than previous years.
Yeah, that's one thing that really I've got to commend you, me and you was really happy about, because they really involved the community in their games, and it was so refreshing to see such a big company actually care about what gamers even want.
Mm-hmm. And obviously Ubisoft have been a company that in the past haven't exactly followed the right procedures and doing stuff like that. They've had a lot of backlash for a lot of the stuff that they've done, and a lot of people still hate them because they still think that their games don't look as beautiful as they do look at E3.
Yeah.
I think that's a bit unjustified because, like, at the same time, you're still demoing to the whole world. Like, you got to make your game look good. Like,
yeah.
I don't think it's classed as underselling it. Like, if you had the rig they had and the settings they have, like, you could probably make the game look like that for a 10-minute period. But I think you have to go in with an open mind when you view like a 10-minute demo that's been pre-prepared for a big show like that.
Exactly.
And, you know, if you expect that to be the whole game on a console that's not even like a 4K running console, then you're probably overestimating what you're going to expect to start with. So there's the debate that they shouldn't build the hype up to that. But then, like, if graphics are that important to you, you should probably go out and spend all your money on a gaming PC and get
exactly.
top of the range stuff and actually, you know, make it look like that. If you're going to spend your money on a console, you can't expect the world's best quality stuff.
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole point. Like, if you have a console or if you have a PC or whatever, like, obviously PC gaming is the more superior, like, system to play on, because just due to the pure fact of how it can handle some of the graphics. Well, even on PC, sometimes the games are not optimized properly. They're more optimized on consoles. It just all depends. We can never ever get what we're shown at E3, and I know it's sad. But you got to think E3 was just a conference just to show off like technical demos of games to other people in the industry. It was never about like showing, you know, people like a final finished product of a game. Like, I think we know that, but I just don't think a lot of people do know that. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and you got to think as well, like, we've seen a lot of people complaining as well online about like stupid things, about like certain games are not coming out, and I just think you gotta give some kind of like respect, and you gotta pay like some dues to some of these studios, because they're working very hard, like, to try and produce some of these games. They can't do everything. They can't make, for example, Splinter Cell on top of all the other games that they're making as well.
Yeah.
or they can't make Animal Crossing on top of all the other games that they're making as well. Like, so
I think that's just the mindset of a lot of people that do play games in the current climate, because games have been releasing so fast over the last couple of years. I think people have become like acclimatized to that, and then now, because of the backlash that they get from people wanting better quality games, they had to go away and look at spending more time on making the game good quality instead of rushing it out the door, which in turn then means that people aren't happy because they're not getting as many games. But like, it's that weird, like, I know what the saying is, but basically, like, it's a 50-50. Like, if you can't have the best of both worlds. You either have one or the other. If you meet in the middle, you're going to get games more regularly, but they're not going to be of the quality that you expect. So you either have quality or quantity. I suppose it depends on what you personally like, but for the industry in general, quality is going to be much better than quantity in the long run.
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree. But what do you think of worst
conference? Square Enix, hands down. That was dreadful. We could just pass straight over that.
We can. We don't even need to go in. Please listen back to our Square Enix. We've literally ripped them apart. Like, it was insane. So
it wasn't a conference. They didn't need to host the conference. To me, it felt like a wasted half hour, and we obviously had planned for a lot more than that and had to change our streaming schedule anyway. But like, for people that have stayed up to watch that, I mean, to be fair, it wasn't that late, but for people that have even got up to watch that in America, or tried to watch that, for example, if someone's at work and they're trying to watch it, like, you've watched half hour of that, like, you already know all the stuff that's going to be in it, so it was pointless. It was really like the most pointless conference I've probably ever seen at E3 in my time of watching it. But yeah, like, there's not a lot more we can say about that. If you are interested, like Tairell just said, listen to like the live feedback that we gave literally just after the conference, because that's probably going to like sum it up more than what we can do now.
Yeah.
But moving on from E3, obviously, you know, it was all good with E3, but, you know, the gaming industry moves on after E3 and news comes quick and fast. And this week we had Nintendo and Microsoft tweeting each other on Twitter after the release of Minecraft on Nintendo Switch. And I think it was like the Crossplay trailer that they released on Nintendo Switch now, so you can actually update Minecraft now on the Switch and play Crossplay via Xbox and Nintendo.
Yeah, and you can also do that on several other games as well, such as Rocket League and Paladins as well. Those are all crossplay.
And Fortnite as well.
Can't forget that fucking terrible game.
As much as I hate the game, you just can't get away from it.
Yeah, you just can't, can you? It's just everywhere. This is like this actually leads quite good onto our like one of our next topics, which is Sony has been blocking Epic accounts from playing on other systems linked to the PSN. So if you've linked your Epic account to your PlayStation Network account, there's not a high probability you will not be able to play on the Nintendo Switch. You would have to create a new Epic account, and that's the only way you'll be able to play on the Nintendo Switch, due to Sony not wanting crossplay to be possible between any other consoles, only PC. Why is Sony doing that? I guess they kind of can, because they've sold the most consoles out of everyone. So for them to they're doing power moves at the moment, aren't they? They're just like, oh well, we could just block whatever we want. But in turn, this is now led to Nintendo and Microsoft creating a new relationship, which can potentially it could spell the downfall of PlayStation and Sony, because Nintendo and Microsoft together are incredibly powerful, because Nintendo itself is more powerful than Sony and Microsoft put together. Like we like, I've said some things in the past about Nintendo, but there's one thing I don't say about them, is that I can't say that they don't have money or games, because they have games that they can bring out. They can dust off Metroid Prime 4 one E3 and that's it. Like, it's over for everyone. So you got to really think about, well, Sony has to really think about what they're doing at the moment, because I don't think it's a good idea, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's not ideal. But I still think that Sony are in a position where they're able to do stuff like this.
Yeah, that's what I said, power moves, isn't it?
I feel like the next generation is where they'll announce it as like a feature. I feel like that's the thing that happens now within the industry, where people come in and be like, okay, like we didn't have crossplay on the PlayStation 4, but with the new PS5 that you have to go and buy, we now include crossplay across all consoles, so you can play with all your friends.
That's just so fucking infuriating, because do you know what the problem is as well? Crossplay is possible on the PlayStation because it was enabled for, I want to say, about 6 hours
enabled for
on
Rocket
Fortnite.
League, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was enabled for about 6 hours on Fortnite, and Sony caught on, obviously, and like told Epic to switch off the servers, like to connect all these systems together. So for 6 hours, people from PC, Xbox, and Sony, because there was no Nintendo or mobile at the time, were all playing with each other. Fine, nothing was wrong. Yet Sony want to keep saying that they don't want it. It's not possible, or we can't make it work. I don't really know what it's about. I don't know if it's about money or if it's about just power moves and just because they have the ball in their court. But Sony needs to stop getting a little bit big for their boots, because that's what Xbox was doing when the Xbox 360 was popping. But now that PlayStation's on top in this generation of consoles, are they going to do the exact same as how Xbox 360 was? Are they going to release the new console and PlayStation is then going to become the obsolete system? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, you'd expect that they'd learn from that, but
yeah,
we have seen time and time again that it changes hands pretty frequently now. Like every year, it seems to change hands because one company gets very complacent and doesn't assess the gamers or the audience's views on what is right and what's wrong. And they go in with the reason to make more money than what they made the year before. And if you're trying to sell that to someone, that's not the best way to go into it. Like they want to see that you can give them the best experience, not for you to get the best experience from them buying it. Like, it's hard to explain, but like, obviously PlayStation's tagline is for the gamers currently, and PlayStation is like an amazing place for gamers right now. Come the next generation, like,
will it be?
We don't know. I believe it will be, because I believe Xbox will move towards PC. Nintendo could take over though. Like, Nintendo could take over. They already have their own share of the market with the Switch, but like,
oh yeah, Nintendo are definitely.
There's no doubt to say that, Sony could become obsolete to Nintendo. Realistically, like there's all the chances in the world that stuff like this can happen, and I think you have to tread carefully if you're in a position where you're on top. Like you have to tread carefully and assess the situation you're in, not go around flaunting your ability to do whatever you want, because once you piss some people off, you piss a lot of people off.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's what is starting to happen now. And I don't know, it's up to them. Either way, I don't really give a shit anyway. I just really, I would care more. I care more about crossplay being opened up as a whole, and rather I'd like Fortnite. Just because Fortnite is the big game right now, that it doesn't make sense why it's being blocked on their system, and then they're blocking other accounts that have connected to PlayStation on other systems. I feel like that's really not right, and they need to do something about that, because it shouldn't be fair that I now have to restart my account on the Nintendo Switch just because I've connected my PSN account. Like, how wrong does that sound?
Yeah. Well, we've seen that obviously Microsoft and Nintendo releasing the advert this week. It shows that one slip up. It's what Sony did when Xbox made a slip up to capitalize on their mistake. Like, if Xbox are going to turn around and do the same thing with Nintendo to capitalize on Sony's mistake, that could see the tables turn next generation. Like it happened before. Everyone thought the Xbox One was going to be the next big console, and it was. And then they announced all this random shit with it, and everyone was like, I'm not down for that. PlayStation come along and just be like, their conference was after, and they literally were just like, this is what you do. Made a little video, and that little video, based on the mistake, basically won them the generation there.
Basically destroyed Xbox, even though Xbox went back on all their features that they were
no one
about to do.
remembers that. No one will remember that. People just remember what happened.
Yeah. I remember that conference. That was a legendary E3 because PlayStation managed to respond to Xbox's claims literally like hours after their conference. So it was quite remarkable how they did that. And yeah, that did win them this generation. And also just the fact that Xbox has no exclusive games whatsoever. They've got nothing. They've just got Gears and Halo. Those are the only like two notable games that I know has came from Xbox that people play. But where is everything else? Like Sony so far has had like Horizon Zero Dawn, like all these other like Sony exclusives that have come out, God of War. I was saying, like, but where are their games? They're just a typical Halo and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why it really, not really like, not really like too bothered about it. As I said, we're not really like massive Fortnite fans anyway, but just crossplay should be opened up as a whole. But anyway, swiftly moving on. Got a little bit of legal trouble going on again. This time, it's not Fortnite and PUBG, even though that has been going on again. But we're kind of tired of talking about it now because PUBG don't have a leg to stand on, in my opinion. Bethesda is suing Warner Brothers because apparently their new Westworld game, which I haven't even seen anything about, I haven't even played. You heard about this Westworld game?
Yeah, I don't know where I've seen it advertised, but it's been advertised a hell of a lot on a lot of different places when I've been looking. I'm not gonna lie, it did interest me. I was like, it piqued my interest in a seen it, and I was like, okay. I actually got an email about it as well from the official Westworld. Because I'm signed up to it, I got an email about it just to say that they'd released the game. I looked at it and I was like, oh, I sort of recognise this from somewhere, but I'm not sure, like, what? And obviously, Bethesda is suing them because it's ripping off Fallout Shelter. I sort of see the similarities. I understand why they're doing it. Like, it basically is slightly the same game.
Well, I'm just reading up the case, Tom, and I did think it did look very similar, but then I read into it, and
yeah, I think
they're saying it's breach of intellectual property because there was a bug that was evident in the early version of Fallout Shelter, which was later fixed, also appears in the Westworld game. The exact same bug. That's not a coincidence. That obviously means that someone is ripped code.
Well, the developers that worked on this, the new Westworld game, were co-developers of Fallout Shelter anyway, so they would have access to the source code. They would
have access to the source code. This is disgusting. I really hope that Bethesda get what they need out of this because we don't condone like copying games or anything like that. We're game developers ourselves, or we study games, and I think it's there's no need to do that, like, unless you need to like pay people for things like that, because I just really don't think it's fair to take other people's work and then make a game out of it. Like, it's so unoriginal, and I don't know, I just don't like things like this. Like, I'm sure you understand as well, Tom, and like, don't you? It's just not great, is it? Like, to take someone else's ideas.
Yeah, I see it from a different point of view because obviously, like, I understand that they've took the game and obviously like the bugs in it, which shows that they've used something. Without that, it's more acceptable, but with that, like it's a different story. But still, like if I was going in building a Westworld game for mobile, I have to think about that. It's for mobile. This format seems to fit perfectly for that.
Yeah.
And I don't blame the company that worked on Fallout Shelter. Like, obviously they were approached by Warner Brothers because they thought, you've worked on Fallout Shelter, we want a game that is like that for Westworld. Like, it's obviously where the concept came from.
Yeah.
They should have edited it and fixed it up, you know? Like, again, it's legally, like, what is, because they were co-developers of Fallout Shelter, so do they own the code of it? Because they still wrote the code for it, they just changed all the assets and everything and how the game plays because it's now based on Westworld, not Fallout. Like, again, like as with everything with lore, like it gets into being touchy and nitpicking what has gone wrong and what's here.
Yeah, because they're trying to get them on similar game design, art style, animations, features, and other gameplay elements. That's what they're trying to get them all on. So if Bethesda can prove all of that,
obviously, if you're using the same game company,
yeah,
you're gonna have a lot of the similarities in general, aren't you? Because they're making a game that's similar. They're making a game because they've been picked to make a game. Based on their previous work, and their previous work is Fallout Shelter. Now, if they want a game like Fallout Shelter based on their previous work, obviously they're gonna try and make it as much like that game as possible without ripping the game off completely.
Yeah.
And I do see that from the Westworld game. I do see that it's like Fallout Shelter, but it's not entirely ripped off. Like it has new elements to it, and you know, it's a little bit different. But again, like with a game like that, how many possibilities is there to do stuff with that? It's sort of like not as in depth, but sort of like with Battle Royale. How many possibilities is it that someone has stolen your game, or is it just the fact that they're making a game that's extremely similar, and you know, like there's only so much you can do with that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I do understand. I do see from your like viewpoint as well. Like, yeah,
I'm not condoning like stealing someone's code and literally just ripping it off and changing the assets, because that's just like it's unreasonable and it's not ethically right. But you have to still consider the point of view they worked on that game as well, and obviously had a lot of experience doing that. So
yeah, that's true. Similar. I guess what we're trying to say is, like, even if you as a company did work on that game, I guess we're just expecting you to use maybe some, like, a newer code. Like, it's just the fact that, like, it is literally the skeleton code of the older game.
Well, it all depends on...
I don't know how they run their development as well.
It depends on legally who owns that code.
Well, I'm guessing Bethesda owns that code, innit? Because that's why that's what they're suing them on. They're saying that they're using Fallout Shelter code. So I don't know how they're going to prove that. I don't know if they need to look at the code side by side. But if you're making a game that is similar, wouldn't the code look similar anyway? So
yeah, I mean, like it's a very hard subject to sort of discuss.
Yeah, we're obviously we don't do lore or anything, so we're just reading what we're finding out. So don't take any of this as like gospel, because if anything, read the case yourself and make your own opinion. Yeah,
coming from development, a lot of the time you reuse a hell of a lot of stuff. Like
you do.
That's what you build it for. You didn't spend 2 years making a game to just throw all that stuff in the bin and start from scratch to make something that's exactly the same.
Mm-hmm.
And technically, if you've worked on it for 2 years at your company, I don't know if you own that code or not, but I feel like you have some sort of right over it. And if you want to reuse it in the future, you possibly have that. But again, it all depends on like what contract and stuff they signed with Bethesda before making the game. So it's there's a lot of stuff that goes into it.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. It's just it's a lot of it's a lot of legalities and a lot of loopholes and things like that. We'll probably see this case go on for years now because that's how they usually tend to go down, especially when it comes to like things like this, because they're insanely hard to prove at times. Either we get thrown out of court straight away, or it will just keep going on. Just like how remember the Oculus Rift thing with ZeniMax that went on for ages, that did, and eventually ZeniMax won the court case, halted all of Oculus sales, and now they get something mad like 60% of all sales. So who knows? Who even knows? Anyway,
just a quick sort of moral of the story. If you're a big Westworld fan and you like games related to Westworld, download the game now, so if it ever gets deleted, you can still play it.
I guess so. I'm not really going to play it because
I'm not sure if it's all online, so you might not. But it's worth risking it.
If you really care about playing like a shelter game, I don't know. It's gonna be riddled with microtransactions. Let's just leave it at that.
I'm ready to give it a try just to see. I'm curious now.
It's up to you. You can do. You can. But anyway, moving on because we're quite deep into the podcast. Remember to move on to films or music yet? Moving on to films and TV. We watched the trailer for Spiderman Into the Spider-Verse. Yes, am I right? Yeah. Very cool looking. Art style is cool. I don't know what that art style is, but I'm digging it. We can't wait until it comes out. It looks really cool. It's following Miles Morales. Everyone check out the trailer. What's your thoughts on it, Tom?
I mean, we discussed this in person. Like this, I didn't even know the film was coming out. I just seen the trailer.
I had no idea.
And I was like, I know the comics and a bit of the TV series, and watched it, and I was like, this is like insane. Like what? Like how is it? How are they animating it? How is it done like a comic book? Like I don't understand the art style, and it's amazingly done. Like it's one of the most visually incredible trailer. I was going to say films, but I haven't seen the film. But like trailer wise, like that film is going to be visually incredible. And realistically, it's just based off the kids' TV series on Disney. Like it's not like an R-rated movie or something for adults.
It's not even based off anything. This is a totally new thing that they've come up with. It's not even based.
I thought it was possibly related slightly to the Miles Morales TV series that they've got.
No, it's just based on just the comics. It's not based on Ultimate. I don't even know what series Miles Morales has. Can't remember what his series is called. No, he doesn't have his own series. He just appears in the Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yeah, he's not the main character, but
he's not the main character. No, it's not. I believe I'm just reading it now. This like is a totally new story that is focused on Miles Morales in the in his own Spider-Man comics. So
okay.
It's a totally new thing, and it's an alternate universe that's going to set outside of the Tom Holland's version of Spider-Man, which is in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So this is why they've been able to be so free in what they've done with the film, because due to it being out of the universe. So I think it's really cool. Way more excited for this than Venom.
Yeah,
I didn't gotta be saying that, but yeah,
it's nice to see animated films getting a comeback, going to the big screen as well. Like with new style and like bringing new ideas for stuff. Like it's been like that. So obviously, Ready Player One was like showed off a bit more of what technology can do these days, but I feel like things like Pixar and stuff, they're good films, so the animation's great, but like it's reached a point where like there's not been much technological advancement visually during that time. The last few years, and now this has come along, and it's like mind blowing to a point because of how different it is. Obviously, it catches people's attention, and that's always going to be a big thing and a good thing. And I'm excited for it. Like, I'm interested in the story, and it reminds me of the DC animated films that they come out with. So things like a lot of the Joker films and the Batman films they come out with, they're all animated.
Oh yeah, those are straight to thingy though, aren't they? Those are like straight.
Yeah, they're straight to
straight,
stuff, but like
straight to Blu-ray or DVD. But this is like.
But some of those films are really good animated films.
Oh my gosh, insane! Some of the Justice League ones are so good, and I like it as well that they're 15, and sometimes I think one's even reached an 18 before. I like how they brutally translate the actual comic book, because everyone knows things like comic books are for kids, but there's some comic books that are really, really graphic, like more graphic than you would expect. So yeah, I'm really excited to see more things like this. I hope people see there's a market for some type of these animated films, and they're not scared to take like a risk, I guess. And because this seems like a really risky film, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, that risk has already paid off from the trailer, but we'll have to wait and see box office still. We know, for example, that Disney and Star Wars reported that they're going to stop the spin-offs because the box offices didn't go too well for Solo.
You see, but there's a new report that came out where Disney came out and said, no, we are not stopping the spin-off films. This is all rumors. So, who's telling the truth?
No idea. I don't think we can tell with Disney.
Yeah, exactly. I don't really know.
Although I do know that the backlash after the rumors came out was pretty bad as well, because obviously so a lot of Star Wars fanboys on Reddit decided that it's going to be a great idea to boycott going to the Solo film. So they did that. And then obviously they boycotted going to Solo, which in turn led to fall in revenue. Mm-hmm. Rumors then come out saying Disney are going to stop all the spin-off films. Obviously they're all waiting for the Boba Fett and Obi-Wan films, like excited to want to go to them. And now they're like kicked up a fuss because they're not going to be made anymore, even though it's another situation of like, not privilege, but like sort of like overprivileged fanboys thinking that they can get what they want, but like if they don't want something, it doesn't have to be made and they don't have to watch it, but everything else should be made because they want it. Like, if you're not going to go watch the other film and it doesn't perform well, you can't expect them to just go and make another film based on that, because they don't know if they're going to make their money back on that film.
Well,
these are like multi like way multi-million-pound productions.
Well, that's the thing as well. I don't know if you've seen a report about George Lucas talking about his original plans for the trilogy. Did I send you that?
I don't believe so, no. But
no, definitely go and check that out. Sorry about that. He releases ideas for the next three trilogy, like his own story, and they're quite vastly different to what we have right now. So he was going to focus on how the Force works and like what it is, like, because we're always led to believe that the Force is some type of entity, but don't forget that the Force isn't an entity. It is kind of like, it's not man-made, but it's like a thing, isn't it? Like, it's hard to explain. Obviously, there's a lot of things that have been thrown out of the Star Wars canon now, where you can't really even say that the Force is like what the Force is. There's been stories and books and stuff like that have alluded to what it is, but now, because the canon isn't that anymore, you can't take that as face value. But George Lucas was going to focus on that for the next three, and the fanboys were like going wild, like, oh my god, George, we're so sorry for driving you to like not wanting to do the series anymore. And I was like, yeah, damn right you did. You drove the guy to the fact that he had to sell Star Wars. He didn't want it anymore. I think he's really happy he doesn't have it anymore either.
There's too much pressure on stuff.
The amount of shit that they give, like, Disney, like, they're saying that this trilogy is worse than, like, the prequel trilogy.
Everyone's always going to say that, though, because it's not the originals. Or, what, like, as soon as one person starts, everyone joins in, and I really like these two films. And I think this is like a good starting trilogy for Disney to kick off on. They can't go in too risky. Like, they're not doing that. They're testing the waters and seeing what they can do. The thing is,
as well, I do not know what those fans want, because they're not saying what they want.
Yeah. I don't want the same Star Wars films over and over again. And some people getting upset because Disney have got elements of that, which I understand. Like, Disney aren't going to come out and make a random film and call it Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're trying with the Star Wars stories, and obviously that's not going too well for them. So obviously they're seeing that the pattern there is, we need to keep the original Star Wars theme around everything for the movies, which made the originals so good, hence why they're taking a lot of inspiration from the originals for this trilogy, because they have to get rid of the characters. Like, you can't have Luke Skywalker at the age of, like, 107 swinging his lightsaber around. Like, it's not going to be a good film. And I wouldn't want a trilogy based on the Force and working out how the Force works. Like, to me, that's not Star Wars. That can be a spin-off, but it's not a trilogy of Star Wars films.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And I think Disney are going the right way about it. I just think people are too quick these days to jump the gun and try and put a downer on stuff because everyone likes to shit on Disney because they're a big company and they're buying a lot and they're going to have a monopoly, and everyone's just like, well, if they're going to do that, they're just going to ruin everything. Well, they made Marvel pretty good, like, and they've not done a bad job bringing Star Wars back. Like, this is a big company that knows what they're doing. Like, maybe you should have a little bit more trust. Obviously, they're going to want to try and sell toys. Fine. Like, that's fine. That's fine by me. That happens. George Lucas tried doing that. He put Jar Jar Binks in the prequels, like, to sell toys.
Yeah.
Like, that's going to happen in the industry no matter who takes over, like, the franchise, because of how important the franchise is.
It's owned by Disney, for God's sake. Have you not seen the monopoly that they've got at the moment? Like,
but also, like, Solo just came out.
Yeah.
And I've not been to watch it, but obviously, like, a few people said it's not that good. But I know some dedicated Star Wars fans that like a lot of the more underground, like, cyberpunk-esque stuff, that like Blade Runner and stuff like that. Or the bounty hunter aspect of Star Wars. Like, they found this film really interesting because it just showed a different side of the universe we'd not seen before.
Yeah, exactly.
And they stayed on one planet and they didn't just move around all the time.
It's not so much the same old, like... Well, not same old, because we were both Star Wars fans, but it wasn't trying to show us, like, oh, lightsaber, the Force. Wow, yes.
Yeah,
like,
but
you know what I'm saying? Like,
it's gritty. Like, I'm down to see a film like that. A gritty underground Star Wars film that's like an 18 that's got like Blade Runner influences in it as well, just to see like that different part of the universe. Like, I'm down for that, and not everyone has to go watch that. It can be a niche thing, but like, if you want to go see that, it's there for you to go see as a fan of the franchise. But you don't have to go and watch it. You don't have to shit on it. If you don't like it, like, just don't go. It's easy enough to like just be like, well, I don't want to go and watch that. And if you come out and you don't like it, well, maybe that's not for you, that part of it. Like, you enjoyed the main Star Wars films, and it's hard to like it's hard to argue because you understand what people do, but like you can't expect it to be exactly what you want, like. And you can't expect all the characters to stay alive forever. Like, you've got to remember these films came out in 1970s. Like, 40 years ago, nearly 50 years ago, these films came out.
Yeah.
Like, these people aren't going to be alive for much longer if you're making another trilogy. So they have to do something to keep the franchise going.
Yeah, exactly. And they've got to, yeah, that's why they have to get in new people. Like, they're just like, do what they were expecting as well. They was expecting all these characters after all these years just not have aged. Like, they didn't age, Tom, in their mind. They all stayed the same age as when the film stopped. The last Star Wars that came out for us was, what, 2003 or something like that?
I think it was 2005, 2006 would have been episode 3.
It was episode 3?
Yeah.
That was years ago. That was 12 years ago, for God's sake. These people have aged a lot.
Oh, yeah, but like, they didn't even have original characters from the original films in any way. Like, but people were shitting on that, like, shitting on the prequels. But now someone else has come along. They're shitting on that and saying, oh, the prequels weren't that bad.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I guarantee, the next trilogy that will come along,
I'll be like, oh, that trilogy wasn't that bad.
Like, oh, that, like, you know what? When Disney actually rebooted the series, it wasn't that bad. I'd rather watch those films than what I'm watching right now. It's just a culture that surrounds stuff like that. You're always going to have fanboys that get upset, and you know, it's never going to change. And it's not a bad thing to be passionate about a franchise that you like, but you know, don't go shitting on a company and blaming everyone and saying, like, you know, those people that are working on the Star Wars films are all passionate Star Wars fans. Like, they took the job for that reason. You know, it's all good saying that you don't like J.J. Abrams or you know, the other directors that have directed films, or the actors, but you know, they're never going to be the original. Like, you have to accept that and move on with it. Like, if it's 50 years ago, plus, like, a lot of the generation now haven't grown up watching the originals as their first Star Wars films. Hence why a lot of people are saying that the prequels were better now as well, because that was their first films. Like, that was the first films I watched Star Wars wise, the prequels, and I was really interested in the prequels.
Oh yeah, I think my first one was the Phantom Menace. Yeah,
and it was more like based for kids at that point. You could say. I still think you can't beat the originals. I'm not going to say that, but I think each film, each main series film, even like the spin-offs, they've all got a different approach. And as a fan of the universe and the franchise of Star Wars, I always want to see new things from every corner of the galaxy that people are deciding is going to happen. Like, if you're interested in that, it's what you want to see. Like, if you see 7 new random aliens during like the thing, or you see like a new animal that people are like riding on, and like the bit in The Last Jedi when they visited the casino planet, and that was like something different, and we see them riding on animals. Like, it's not something we'd normally see in a Star Wars film, but it was different. Like, we've not seen that, and
there's so much there's so much lore and like environments and settings and things to explore. They can do whatever they want, to be honest. It's up to them. As I said, they threw the canon out the window as well, so they've got a lot of space to breathe, if anything, in terms of like what they want to do with the series. So we'll just have to just see, and we just have to just carry on. Hopefully it's gonna go well. Like I can't see them, Solo's still done 344 million. It just happens to be that, it just happens to be that, it's lower than the main trilogy, which is expected anyway. So I don't really know what everyone's expecting. But anyway, quickly moving on. I went and watched Deadpool 2. I'm just going to give a quick review about it. It was really cool. Wasn't better than number 1 in my opinion, but I really enjoyed it. But quite funny. Yeah, that was it. Really, it was just good all round fun.
That was a quick review. That
it was just all good round fun. Really, go and watch Deadpool 2 if you ever get a chance. It will be coming out cinemas soon anyway, but I would go and watch it if I was you. Just another Marvel film. Marvel all hits, no misses really. Yeah, that's about it. Really, go watch Deadpool 2.
Yeah, not in recent years. Still remember like the Daredevil film from years ago. They improved a lot.
Oh,
but superhero movies have improved a lot since.
Oh
then.
In general, they've improved so much. Now we just gotta hope that game films improve. Now that's the next thing that I want to happen.
Yeah, you hoping for a Metal Gear film? I can.
Well,
I can feel it.
But it's coming anyway. It's already coming.
Is it going to be good?
It's by the guy who did King Kong. You know that guy with the really big beard. His name's like Jordan Van Gogh or something like that.
Yeah, it's just. Does he understand? Is he going to understand?
Oh no! Him and Kojima are really good friends. They've been talking about the script and everything. Kojima's involved.
Okay.
I don't know why Konami is involved in, but they've allowed him to be involved.
Because we all saw Metal Gear Survive. There's no more words that need to be said about that. We all saw what happened to that game.
But I'm wondering, did Kojima do this out of like the kindness of his heart? Like, did he just give advice to him, or have they allowed him to be a part of the project? Like, I don't really know what's going on here.
I don't think we'll ever know.
Well, we'll see when the film comes out. Metal Gear film is coming out. Go and watch Deadpool 2. It's really cool. There's a lot. There's a big cameo in there that you don't expect.
No spoilers, please.
Look out for that. We're moving on to music now because it's getting into the show and music. It's a bit serious. We're just gonna do a brief some brief condolences to Triple X Tentacion and Jimmy Wopo. They both tragically passed on the 18th of June. They both got shot. Withholding anything to do with any cases or anything, we just think it's very tragic and no one should ever die that way. I just think it's really horrible. So I just hope that their family is fine. We just send our condolences to the family, to even the fans, friends, anything of these two guys. Triple X Tentacion, I didn't really listen to his music, neither did Tom. But what we hear, he helped a lot with mental health issues, and people really regard him as like something great. So there's that. Yeah. And Jimmy Wopo, I did listen to a couple of Jimmy Wopo tracks. He was up and coming. He was just about to blow. So it's very sad to hear him pass as well. And, it's just stupid so much. It's just gun violence, man. Just end the gun violence, man. It's just horrible. It's just horrible to hear about things like this.
Yeah. Just sort of going back to X, like the day we found out, even though we're not big fans of his music or his personality in general, what he seemed to do for his fans was good and inspiring, and he looked like he wanted to change as a person. And he seemed to resonate with a lot of people, his music did, and you've got to be doing something right if you're doing that. And
yeah,
he obviously inspired a lot of people as well with all the tributes that come back to him. But like people using stuff against him on like about his death over social media and stuff like that, like we spoke about this off air, and I feel like we should just say something short. Just the fact that like it doesn't matter like what there's times where you can say stuff like that, but you can't go out and wish death upon someone or say that someone deserved it. Like the law's there for a reason, and the law's there to handle that. You can't go out and say that you are glad someone is dead. Like, you have to bear respect that if you're in a situation like that and you're one of the family members or friends that are suffering at the moment, you're not going to want people saying that, especially on the internet. And I think in modern times we don't consider as much how that can affect people. The fact that we are speaking about such a personal topic to people, and such like a heartbreaking thing to speak about, and you're just casually passing that off as being nothing over the internet. Like it doesn't matter what these people have done. Like no one deserves to get murdered or shot. Like no one ever deserves that. And you can't sit there and argue a case that someone does because there's no reason why.
Yeah, and it's true. And I understand where, I understand why some people will feel like that because of what he's done. But at the end of the day, like, he's got to think about it. Like, his family members will read some of the things and friends, and they just think that it's just not the right, like, not, I'm not saying it's not the right time or place, but I'm just saying that things like that can really affect other people, and other people keep saying that, like, what he did, he wasn't thinking about his actions, but he wasn't. The kid's dead. You know what I'm saying? He's dead. He's dead now. So like, what else do you want from this? You know what I'm saying? Like,
he showed he was open to change, and you never got the chance to do that. And like, rest in peace to him. He tried. He made an impact, and he obviously resonated with a lot of people, as we've said. And as much as I didn't like him and some of the stuff he did, like, his music, you have to respect. He's still a talented music artist, and I still wouldn't wish what happened to him upon him. And it's a saddening day when people are sat there on their phone saying that that's a good thing to happen in the world, because it's not, and they're the same people that would sit there and argue against guns being bad.
Yeah, but, it's exactly.
You can't get on a soapbox and say stuff like that.
As I said, let's just get out of this topic anyway. It's getting a little bit too heavy, and we try and tend to stay away from. Stay away from things like this. Just condolences to the family of both Triple H Tentacion and Jimmy Wapo. I hope they're, coping. And that's not even any words, because I don't know how I would feel if I ever lost a son or a door or anything. Like, it doesn't matter what. Like, must be just a horrible feeling. But yeah, as I was saying, moving on from that, new releases that have come out. We've been away for ages, so a lot of music has come out. We're not going to really detail all of our reviews and stuff, because some of this music we haven't even fully listened to. So we'll just give you a quick rundown of what's come out so far. Everything Is Love by the Carters, Beyonce and Jay-Z. I quite enjoy the album. Kids See Ghosts, Kiddy and Kanye.
I think if Kid Ink and Kanye released an album together, that'd be like a brand new genre of music.
What? Kid what?
Kid Ink.
Sure, man. Kid Ink.
I know you're a big Kid Ink fan, so.
No, I'm not. You're a big Kid Ink fan, so shut up. I'm not a fan of none of that shit. So relax yourself, Tom. Anyway, Kids See Ghost. Yeah, it's a pretty good project. Yeah, actually came out. Yeah, it's pretty good. Now that it's all like settled down on me and like resonant, it's like, it's okay. It's not the best Kanye album ever, but like, it's okay.
It's a solid Kanye album. It's a solid Kanye album. Like,
it does.
Everyone was shitting on it. It's a solid Kanye album. Like, end of the day.
Not, yeah, but he's not really talking about anything. I was expecting him to explain his actions a little bit more, but whatever, innit? I guess.
I mean,
I guess so.
Yeah, like, I'm listening to the music. I'm not listening it for him. Like, his views are his own. His views are not his music. I
am listening to him, and he wasn't really saying anything on the album, in my opinion. The beats are nice though. Superfly soundtrack came out, which is basically a Future album, so I'm always in on that. It's great. So, so if you want to listen to that, Superfly is out soon. We have raved about this, so we want to go and watch it in cinema. Where I don't know if they're even going to put it in England, so we might have to hunt around to see who's doing it. Nas's album's out. I'm hearing it's really poor against other Nas albums. Haven't listened to it yet. Not really feeling to listen to it, to be honest. Yeah, there's that. Also produced by Kanye. Tiana Taylor's album is supposed to be out later tonight. The day we're recording it, we're recording right now at the 23rd of June, so it should be out. But I heard it's been taking ages for it to come out. The Mike Dean's been mixing and mastering it, so I don't know what's going on there. Probably smoking another blunt. I don't know. Nicki Minaj's got 2 new singles coming out for her album Queen. One is called Rich Sex with Lil Wayne. Wayne's just got freed out of his Cash Money case. Yes, free C5. Lil Wayne is finally free. Which is just a good thing anyway in general, because, Birdman was really fucking him over, so I'm glad that he's got out of the case. He got 40 million in settlement money, but apparently we got 10 million, but apparently that's a fraction of what he's owed, and he just accepted that to get out of his deal, which is kudos to him.
Not a bad fraction, is it?
No, it's not a bad fraction, but still, that's a lot of money that he's missing. But as I say, kudos to Wayne for getting out of that situation, because it was killing him. So yeah, I'm glad he's out of that. And apparently as a part of the deal, he's supposed to take Drake and Nicki with him, but we don't know how true that is at the moment.
Yeah, well, shout out to the Free Wheezy movement.
Yes, exactly, man. Yeah, free C5, man. We've been waiting for Carter 5 for years now, and it just hasn't come. So hopefully he releases it soon. But that's about it. Scorpion is coming this month. Possibly Drake's biggest album to date. It's going to be a double album, rumored to have a hip hop side and an R&B side. I'm hyped.
Yeah, I'm liking this. I'm liking the double album thing everyone's got going on at the moment. Like, it was a thing in the 2000s.
Yeah, it was.
And it went away, and that's coming back.
Do you know what it's a part of? It's part of streaming as well. More songs you have, the more. The more chance you're gonna go platinum in it.
I'm down. Like, yeah, I'll take a Tyler album tomorrow. Like, dark and
and like a light side, yeah.
Like I'll take that, and I'll take a Frank album. Like this, like I'll take every if everyone does a double album, like I'll take it.
See, sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad. But I got to commend Ray Shremmerd for bringing back this trend because I feel like they set it off. Yeah.
Although to be fair, like I know you'd be interested if Kid Ink released a double album, but I probably wouldn't want to.
Why are you pushing this narrative that I'm a Kid Ink fan? Just shut up. No, I'm not a Kid Ink fan. I'm not a Kid Ink fan. It's fine because, you know, I caught Tom bumping along to Frozen soundtracks the other day again. So let's talk about that, shall we?
Yeah, it's fine. Frozen's a really good film.
No, let's just leave it. As you know, the playlist is out. You can find a mixture of all these albums we spoke about on the playlist. Some are not on there, just due to we haven't put them on there yet. The playlist is still out. Weekly playlist. You know, type in 808s and Joysticks. All that good stuff, weekly playlist. You can go find the previous ones. You can go into our collection, which has all the tracks in there. We've grown up to how many we got on there now? 325.
Yeah, it will be 350 by the time this airs.
Yeah, there'll be 350 tracks on there for you to just shuffle up and just play.
I should point out that's on Apple Music and Spotify. We spoke previously about looking at putting the playlist on different platforms. This week we did sit down and literally try and put the playlist on different platforms. Turns out not a lot of places have the music that we put in the playlist. YouTube Music, for example, had 200 songs out of 325. Deezer had 198 out of the 325. And whilst we could set up a playlist with the limited tracks, we feel like you wouldn't get the best experience by doing that, because we've curated the playlist each week to 25 songs based on that. And if there's a few songs missing, it ruins the experience that we've curated for that week. And sort of our vision going forward of what we want to do, and when people listen to what we listen to, we feel like we want them to do that, rather than sit there and listen to like 7 of the songs that we've picked.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's really important that we follow up with everything has to be the same on all of our platforms rather than things being different. So
it's also a good thing that we do actively listen to a lot of up and coming artists and promote them by putting them in the playlist, because we think they're good quality artists and talented, and we want to share their music with other people. And a lot of those are the ones that aren't normally on other platforms. And it's a bit unfair to offer our playlist on another platform and not include the artists that are possibly working the hardest at the moment to try and make a break.
Exactly.
We respect that. We respect how hard people have to work to do that, especially in the music industry.
Gotta respect the hustle.
And, you know, if people then go to either spot, like you could listen free on Spotify still. You just shuffle play the playlist. You'll get adverts from Spotify, but, you know, put up with a 3-minute advert to possibly find a new artist that you can listen to. And we'd rather do that than take them out the playlist and have to focus on picking people that are only on certain platforms. Because it does limit down what we do massively. And that's not what we really want to do when we're curating stuff.
Yeah, well, that's all. That's all we've got. It's episode 9. We're back. Regularly scheduled programming for now, and that's about it really. Thank you for the support. it's just really wonderful. It's such a great feeling when we look at the stats and we can see how many people are actually playing us. And, you know, shouts out to America, Ghana, Thailand. We're getting plays from everywhere. Like, shouts out to people in England that are playing it. There's people in Haywood that are playing it. I don't know if it's because my name's Haywood. And yeah, I don't know. How is it doubtful? Well, obviously people must see something.
There's a place in England called Stone, and I'm not seeing anyone play the play us on demand there. So,
yeah, but that's because Haywood, you know, they got to represent for my name. Like, I just think it's a really big coincidence, though, that there's a lot of people in Haywood that seem to be playing the podcast. I don't know why. That's actually literally down the road from Manchester as well, so it's really, really weird. So
obviously, like, you know, each week we produce quality content for everyone. Like the discussion we're having at the moment about our people listening to a show based on our last names. You know, this is good quality content that you should listen to each week. We're hoping that a lot more people will be listening soon. We're hoping that we try and expand from this. We're really enjoying what we're doing, obviously, like E3 last week and everything. News, obviously, this week is... We've still covered a lot, but news, obviously, this week has been a little bit short as to what it normally is because of E3. And again, we focused mainly on gaming because of that. We are mainly like a gaming-based show anyway, because, you know, that is what one of our main interests is. But we like to cross the gap and... As our actual catchphrase is sort of bridging the gap between music and gaming, and as the show name says, you know, 808s and Joysticks. We're trying to do that, and obviously the playlist is a big part of that. And, you know, quick mentions and a little discussion about music as well is like something that we feel is valid for people that listen to our show and want to know more about us as well. Like, but yeah, we value everything that you've done so far. If you're a listener, a regular listener, or even just a first time listener, it does mean a lot to us. All support
is great. Yeah, all support is great for the show because it fuels us on to like carry on. Like we're still in the passionate phase anyway. I feel like we're never going to get out of that phase, but you know, people get to the slump sometimes where, you know, it starts to get monotonous or whatever, but we're still enjoying it so much and we're just doing it. Like this is our output every 2 weeks. This is what we do, like, as our creative output, from the artwork to making the playlist, like from having like talks with each other about different ideas and strategies we're going to come up with. Like, this is what we do, you know, to just get all of our creative output out there. And I can't wait for what the future has in store for us.
I think we can leave it at that.
I will leave it at that, man.
Yeah. This is episode 9 of 808s and Joysticks. You can catch us on... I was going to say Spotify. You can catch the playlist on Spotify. You can't catch us on demand on Spotify yet.
No. They're playing with our name, but don't worry.
But we are on Spreaker, Podbean, iTunes, all your normal
YouTube as well. Go check us out over there.
Yeah, all your normal on-demand sites for podcasts and radio shows.
Yeah, it's lots.
And I think that's it. We had a good solid week again this week. not that much that we had to cover. But I mean, that's all part and parcel of the show. We make the content for you guys. No one makes it for us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, and that's about it, guys. Episode 9, 808s and Joysticks. Hope you have a great week whenever you're listening to. Great week. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. Have a great holiday. Whatever you're doing, just have a great time. Thanks for listening as always. We massively appreciate it. Without anyone listening to us, we just don't know where this would be at the moment, and it's just an amazing feeling. Just to know that, you know, people listen to us all the time and download the podcast, and download the show. And yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's it. 808s Joysticks. Peace.
If you liked any of the music in today's show, then please remember to go to Future James on SoundCloud or Bandcamp and support him.